So, folks, there was an event at Madison Square Garden quite recently. And there is a clip floating around of a comedian doing a set at this event. And I'm going to play you approximately 19 seconds of that set. And that 19 seconds might be the reason Donald Trump loses the election that is taking place in about a week.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. A lot going on.
So, we'll watch that full thing and react to it in a different segment, but for the purposes of this 19 seconds really is causing some incredibly huge problems for the Republican Party and the Republican movement, okay? Because it turns out millions of people live in Puerto Rico. And millions of people who are from Puerto Rico live across the continental United States. And can vote in the continental United States for representation. It's crazy how democracy works, right? And, well, it's basically led to a colossal media shitstorm. I believe that's the appropriate term here. And here is AOC on CNN.
Joining us right now, Democratic Congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
who is also Puerto Rican.
Thanks for being here. You called this out last night. You were hanging out with Tim Walz. You guys were streaming. You called it out last night. Fresh eyes on it this morning. When you see that remark and you see now that comedian responding to you guys, I'll read a bit of it for you. I know you've seen it, but for everyone out there, these people have no sense of humor. Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and vacation there.
Can I just say that, like, that part of his response to the incredible fallout that is coming from his set is insane to me. Like, we are all familiar with the Republican line of, oh, I have black friends, therefore I can't be racist. But I've never heard someone try to argue that they can't be racist because they vacation in a place. Like, you understand how insane that sounds and how out of touch that sounds. Like, no one who reads that believes you, bro. Not a single person.
I made fun of everyone. Watch the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon, is what he ends it with. What does it mean today? What does it do today?
You know, this honestly isn't really about a comedian. This is about the Trump campaign. Those comments and that individual saying those things on that stage, inciting an entire arena of individuals who have been previously incited to commit attacks like the ones we saw on January 6th by people like Donald Trump. None of that was an accident.
Yeah, also, they knew what his set was going to be. Like, he cleared it with the campaign. They knew, they approved it.
These campaign events are put together. They are vetted. That language was vetted by the Trump campaign. Yep. That person was approved by the Trump campaign because he is speaking on behalf of the Trump campaign.
Because they knew that, well, Puerto Rico, that doesn't count as American. You can make fun of them. After all, they're not white people. It, like, it really does boil down to that level. Like, the Trump campaign is full of white supremacists, racists, and neo-Nazis. Okay? Like, that is what it is. And they are absolutely on board with vilifying anyone who's non-white. Anyone who falls outside of the heteronormative world of whiteness. And, like, some people hadn't figured that out yet. Like, that's kind of where I'm at here. Like, there are large numbers of people in this country that see bigotry towards, certain minority groups, but then they look at theirs and they're like, well, they aren't going to come for me. Our group is the exception. Like, you can kind of see this with a lot of Cuban diaspora, for example. Like, there are a lot of ex-Cubans who have predominantly conservative worldviews because on a certain level, they think that, well, the racism against Latinos won't affect them. They're different. But stuff like this is a wake-up call, not just for Puerto Ricans, but for a lot of Latinos, for a lot of people who just fall outside the norm of what Republicans are gunning for here. And this is a moment where, like, they really can't ignore that Republicans are going to come for them.
And I think it's really important that people understand that when we see everything that's happening, what is being transmitted and said about Latinos in the United States is exactly what the Trump campaign means. He believes that Latinos, as we've seen, are...
God, the audio issue here is really unfortunate.
An unimportant,
Ironic for people from Staten Island and Long Island, literal landfills, laughing at PR being called garbage. Especially in a city with more Puerto Ricans than San Juan.
True. Also, text-to-speech. Learn how to say Puerto Rican. Well, come on.
valued and unnecessary part of the United States of America. And when Stephen Miller comes on and talks about America for America.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the yes, Mr. Miyagi. A lot of the Cubans who fled Cuba were in fact plantation owners.
Americans. He's not even talking about U.S. citizens as Americans, because Stephen Miller kind of flirts with this idea of taking away U.S. citizenship from people depending on his own personal opinions about what being an American means. And so the Trump campaign is very clearly transmitting who they believe is an American and who they don't.
And not only is the Trump campaign doing that, but the Trump campaign also reserves the right to decide on a whim who is and is not American. Are you loyal to Trump? You're an American. Are you loyal to Trump, but you, I don't know, might not be completely white by their shifting standards? Well, maybe you're not a real American. Are you disloyal to Trump? Are you someone who publicly disagrees with him? You're not American. You know, in their conception of reality, you are not an American unless you kowtow to their great leader, you know?
Not based on citizenship, but based on ethnicity and based on their opinion of Donald Trump.
True. I mean, like, AOC is completely correct. This isn't Cuba, though. Puerto Ricans are already U.S. citizens. Why are you saying that like I don't know that? I was talking about Cubans as a group, largely thinking that like racism against Latinos might not apply to them because they are positioned in a certain like economic class. Why are you trying to imply I don't know Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens? It's a U.S. territory. They have U.S. citizenship. Like, the issue here is that they're reserving, they don't think they are full Americans because they can speak Spanish. I'm responding to the chatter. Gotcha. Yeah, no, like, it really is one of those things where Republicans just don't care that they're U.S. citizens, because it doesn't matter to Republicans if Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens or not. A lot of Republicans just go, they're from that island. Get them out of here. Send them back. You know, like it really does boil down that far for a lot of Republicans. And to be clear, that comedian, when he made that joke, the premise of the joke is that Puerto Ricans themselves are the garbage. Puerto Ricans are the ones making the garbage. Like, it is inherently dehumanizing because they don't view Puerto Ricans as human beings. Okay? Like, it really is incredible. And, like, the backlash has been wild. Here's J.D. Vance trying to talk about it.
Now, I've heard about the joke. I haven't actually seen the joke that you mentioned, but I think that it's telling that Kamala Harris's closing message is essentially that all of Donald Trump's voters are Nazis, and you should get really pissed off about a comedian telling a joke.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet. That he has to open up by saying that, because if he says he's seen it, there's no way for him to defend what was said there. So he has to feign ignorance here in order to be like, well, I imagine it was a totally good guffaw time. It was made in the interest of comedy. Yes, it was totally fine. But I haven't seen it. That there's not a single goddamn chance that the vice presidential candidate for the Republican Party, who was, I believe, at that rally, hasn't seen that. No chance. No shot. No shot.
That is not the message of a winning campaign. And most importantly, it's not the message of a person who's fit to be the president of the United States of America.
You know what's not the message of a winning campaign? A message that alienates millions of voters in swing states. In this case, millions of Puerto Rican voters in swing states.
And my own view on this is, look, again, I haven't seen the joke. Maybe it's a stupid racist joke, as you said. Maybe it's not. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the joke. But I think that we have to stop getting so offended at every little thing in the United States of America. I'm so over it.
We have to stop getting offended over every little thing. Here, let me just pull this up here. Let's just take a look at Newsweek here. Because Newsweek put together a handy little map here of states with Puerto Rican population listed here. Let's take a little gander here. Let's see. The Puerto Rican population is 5.5% of Florida's population, and that equates to 1.17 million votes. Patrick Lucas, thank you for the gifted membership over on YouTube. I appreciate it. Or Pennsylvania. 472,000 votes. I mean, like, guys, even in Wisconsin, that's 61,000 people. Yeah, like even in Georgia, 100,000 people. Not votes, people. I understand the difference between votes and people. What I'm trying to make clear to you is that when you say to hundreds of thousands of people in swing states that the place that their parents are from or that they are from is garbage, and call those people garbage on the basis of their ethnicity, that's going to affect what they want to vote for. That translates into votes for the election. So, I don't know. You might say, well, it's not 100%. I mean, some of them might be are children, you know, like they're not going to vote. Yeah, but the point I'm making here is that we're talking about numbers of people that are greater than, like, what made the difference in the last round of elections. We're in a close electoral situation here. If we swing, if it even swings 10,000 voters to additionally turn out in a swing state, that has the potential to win the state for Harris. If it loses just a handful of votes in one of those swing states from Donald Trump as a result, it has the potential to swing it for Harris. That's the point I'm making by saying, oh, 100,000 votes, 1.1 million votes. Like, it's to hammer home that the potential impact of this is incredibly large. People who might not have cared enough to turn out are gonna care now just to say, fuck you, Donald Trump. And so that's the point I'm making. I understand that they're human beings. And it's because I understand that they're human beings that I surmise that their voting pattern might be impacted slightly by, you know, someone representing a certain political campaign saying that they are from a garbage island of garbage people. And, like, it's not like there was a ton of love for Donald Trump previously. Because I don't know if you guys remember this, but 3 years ago? Well, it's not 3 years ago, sorry. 7 years ago, under Donald Trump's presidency, it turns out that Donald Trump really fucked over Puerto Rico. He delayed $20 billion in aid to Puerto Rico for no reason. He delayed it because he doesn't care about Puerto Ricans. He doesn't view Puerto Ricans as people. And so he delayed it to punish them, to let them know they're not as valuable to Republicans as people on the mainland. And then he had the audacity to try and use their disaster as a photo op with him tossing paper towels at them. He delayed it because they can't vote and he doesn't give a shit about them. And they are, frankly, in his mind, like lesser people. And guys, it got the attention of Puerto Rican celebrities. This is from Don Omar. Puerto Rico is my homeland and my identity, and today, more than ever, I raise my island's flag with pride. Hearing such racist and disdainful words directed at my home and at Latinos is heartbreaking. Trump has shown us time and again what he thinks of us, and the thought of him and his administration back in power is deeply concerning. Words have weight, and as a community, we cannot tolerate language that seeks to devalue us. Latinos, both on and off our native lands, deserve respect and fair representation. With only 1 week until the election, let's make sure our voices are heard loud and clear. This is why I'm supporting Kamala Harris. I trust she represents the respect and change our communities need, and I believe she can pave a new path forward, one that uplifts, empowers, and prioritizes dignity for all. It's time to turn the page. We are not going back. This is the most popular reggae artist in Puerto Rico. He has 50 million followers. Bad Bunny spoke out about this. Ricky Martin has spoken out about this. Like, Puerto Rican celebrities are uniformly coming out against Donald Trump after this. J-Lo has spoken out about this. Jennifer Lopez, you know? So, this is going to absolutely have an impact on the election. Like, this when I say this might very well save America, I mean it. I genuinely mean it, guys. Like, this mobilizes not just Puerto Ricans, which we've already established on their own could make the difference for this election. This mobilizes all Latinos. You know, the turnout is going to be massive, I think, as a result of these endorsements. Like, I think that this is going to make a huge difference. And, like, the election is way too close for comfort, guys. Like, I am optimistic. I do think Kamala Harris will win. But it shouldn't be this close. I shouldn't be as nervous and racked with anxiety as I am about the outcome of this election. And the thing is, if it is not close, if it is instead a complete blowout of an election, that means that it's exponentially harder for Donald Trump to try and do a fuckery to steal the election. Okay? It makes it exponentially harder for him to sow chaos if it's just overwhelming victory for Democrats. And I think that possibility is now in play. That possibility, a complete blowout, is currently in play. And you know what? We're gonna play the rare Joe Biden W. Okay, the rare Joe Biden W moment from earlier today that Republicans are currently having conniptions about.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
The only garbage I see out there are his supporters. And you know what? Yeah. If you can watch a reenacted Nazi rally and still be a supporter of Donald Trump, you are garbage. Is the sound muted? No. Like, the thing is, I don't know that is a good thing to say electorally this far out of from the election. But it's true. You know, like, it's one of those things where it's like, is it a good idea to, like, poke your opponent to, like, mobilize conservative voters? No. But is it true? Absolutely. Absolutely true. And he shouldn't have tried to correct it afterwards. He shouldn't have. He should have let it sit. He should have let it stand. But you know what? Joe Biden is on his way out of office. And frankly, it couldn't come fast enough. It is, however, the moral thing to say. It is. It is. I think more people should defend that position. The issue is, and I've talked about this at length on the show, but also I did a thread about it on Twitter. It's not a wise thing to say electorally when Kamala Harris's current campaign strategy seems to be appealing to white non-college voters, and peeling off Republican votes by like eroding support for Trump in that demographic. Like her main campaign strategy right now is appealing to the white non-college voter. And you know, galvanizing them with a statement like that could kind of reduce the gains that her campaign strategy may have reaped. But we'll see. We're so close to election day at this point. Like we'll just have to see what happens. I can't prognosticate at this point. Normalize mocking evil. True. So he vanced her, kind of. I really don't think it will. Nobody pays attention to Biden. I think it might matter. It might matter to Republicans specifically. And it might matter to Nikki Haley Republicans, you know? But I don't think it will affect the overall election that much. I do think it could come into play in like a few counties or on the state level. We'll have to see. Yeah. Also, just want to really highlight this.
Here y'all go. Have a good stream.
Simric.
Drink water and exercise.
Thank you for the $5 super chat and good advice. Drink water and exercise. I've been doing poorly at both of those things this past week. After the election, I'm getting back on it, but I need the anxiety I feel is not being dealt with well. Anyway, that being said, while Joe Biden's statement there accurate, maybe electorally unhelpful, the Trump camp's doubling down on this is exponentially worse than anything Joe Biden could say. Here is a statement from a guy named Brendan Dilley. Okay? Are you guys ready for this? It's pretty bad. This guy is from Donald Trump's communication team, is my understanding. Furthermore, there is a concern among many MAGA regarding Puerto Rico. I have no fucking idea why. If there are Puerto Ricans who are willing to surrender America to communism over a comedian making a joke, fuck you. Fuck you right back to fucking Puerto Rico. If you're in the fucking United States of America right now and you're on the actual fucking the lower 48, you're there. You're not on your shit-ass island. You have no right to complain about how people perceive your dirty-ass island, period. Yeah. So, I don't think they're going to be winning back the Latino vote or the Puerto Rican vote. I don't think they're going to I don't think that they are I think they are constitutionally incapable of retreating from their racism at this point, you know? I'm not even Puerto Rican and I'm filled with righteous anger. Good. You should be. Fuck this guy. Like, I have to be honest with you guys. If there was any justice in America, this guy would be ashamed to show his face anywhere. People, if there was any justice in America, Trump supporters would be so ashamed of themselves they would never wear their Trump merchandise again. Because they would universally be recognized instantly as modern day Ku Klux Klan members, okay? Socialist Senpai, I know Dominicans that dropped their vote for Trump after the Puerto Rico comments. For anyone who knows Dominicans / Puerto Ricans and their beef, that is insane. Yeah, like, it really is wild, you know? Also, the comment after, oh, I didn't need to read it. There's actually a clip. Wow, look at that.
Furthermore, there is a concern among many MAGA regarding Puerto Rico. I have no fucking idea why. If there are Puerto Ricans who are willing to surrender America to communism over a comedian making a joke, fuck you. Fuck you right back to fucking Puerto Rico. If you are in the...
You know, it's crazy to me how, like, white supremacists are just the ugliest motherfuckers.
fucking United States of America right now, and you're on the actual fucking the lower 48, you're there. You're not on your shit ass island. You have no right to complain about how people perceive your dirty ass island. Period. And if you're willing to vote or against Donald Trump because he accurately or because I...
Notice the slip up here, by the way. Notice the slip up. Because if you're willing to vote against Donald Trump because he accurately... This guy in his defense of Donald Trump here is attributing, in his mind, what that comedian said directly to Donald Trump, because that comedian was speaking for Donald Trump in that moment.
Comedian, rather, not even Donald Trump, but because a comedian accurately made a joke about the fact that your country, fucking nation state, whatever the fuck you guys are, territory, is overrun with trash. Fuck you. I expect more from Puerto Rican Americans. If you're a Puerto Rican, you know exactly what your problem is with your island. I've fucking been there. You can sell your bullshit somewhere else. I've fucking been there. I've seen how fucking dirty it is. I've seen the violent crime. I've seen the poverty. And I've seen the goddamn trash. And so, yes, there was a joke made at your fucking expense. And it wouldn't be funny if your island wasn't actually a floating trash heap.
Jesus Christ.
So, you're not going to actually impact this election in a negative way, no matter how much you virtue signal about this stupid-ass story.
I don't know, Dilly. I think it might negatively impact the election. That's why fucking Rick Scott apologized for it. If you know anything about politics, you know that Rick Scott, in case you guys forgot, it's this supervillain looking motherfucker, is one of the most conservative people in holding elected office. He's an evil guy. And even he had to put out a tweet disavowing this. Okay? Like, this guy campaigns with Laura Loomer. He is out and about, trafficking in conspiracy theory nonsense. He is a truly vile individual. And even he put out a tweet saying, this joke bombed for a reason. It's not funny and it's not true. Puerto Ricans are amazing and people are amazing people and amazing Americans. I've been to the island many times. It's a beautiful place. Everyone should visit. I will always do whatever I can to help any Puerto Rican in Florida or on the island. And you know, that's because Rick Scott knows that joke means that his ass is on the line. Because of the Puerto Rican population of Florida. because that population is big enough to ensure that he doesn't hold office again. Like, Republicans in districts where Puerto Ricans live know that they're kind of fucked here. So, Dilly, you might be all hot and bothered over this, but I don't think your political analysis here is very good. I think it's going to matter a whole lot, actually. And, of course, just one more time for the road, huh, Joe?
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware.
Can we take a moment to just be like, Joe, you almost said you were from Puerto Rico.
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Dilly isn't proving him wrong. Crazy. Anyway, yeah. This is going to be the major thorn in their side for the next week. And there's really no getting out of it for them. And I hope that if we get a close election, that this is what makes the difference between a Trump presidency and a Kamala Harris presidency, because it very well could. It very well could.